Patrick Swayze. In the late 1980s, Patrick Swayze was the embodiment of charisma and rugged masculinity, known for his unforgettable roles in Dirty Dancing and Ghost, where he exuded a unique blend of charm and vulnerability. However, as the years passed, the public's perception shifted. Swayze faced health challenges, including a battle with pancreatic cancer, which altered not only his physical appearance but also the narrative surrounding him. In his later years, Swayze embraced a more introspective role, focusing on his passion for dance and acting, reminding audiences of his resilience. Today, he represents a complex tapestry of talent, struggle, and humanity, prompting reflection on the enduring impact of those we once idolized, even as they confront life's harsh realities. Tony Curtis. Tony Curtis once epitomized Hollywood's golden age, dazzling audiences with his charm in classics like Some Like It Hot. His youthful exuberance and striking good looks made him a symbol of post-war glamour, but the relentless pressure of fame took its toll. As the years passed, Curtis faced not only the inevitable changes of aging, but also a shift in public perception, moving from leading man to a more complex figure grappling with personal challenges. In his later years, he embraced painting and remained a beloved figure, albeit in a quieter light. Today, Curtis represents the duality of celebrity, a brilliant star whose brilliance dimmed, yet whose human experiences resonate deeply with those who remember. Anthony Hopkins. In the 1990s, Anthony Hopkins became synonymous with chilling performances, most notably as the enigmatic Dr. Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs, a role that solidified his status as a master of psychological horror. However, as the years have passed, his public persona has shifted. Aging has brought a gentler image, with Hopkins embracing roles that reflect wisdom rather than menace, such as in The Father. Yet, his journey has not been without challenges. Health issues and personal struggles have shaped his later years. Today, he embodies a complex legacy, one that reminds us that even the most formidable figures can evolve, revealing their human side amid the passage of time. Jack Lemmon. In the 1960s, Jack Lemmon was the embodiment of charm and wit, known for his memorable roles in films like Some Like It Hot and The Apartment, where his expressive face and comedic timing captivated audiences. As the years passed, Lemmon's public image shifted. Aging brought a subtle gravitas to his performances, yet he also faced the challenges of a changing industry that often overlooked seasoned actors. By the late 1990s, he had largely retreated from the spotlight, but his later work, including a poignant role in Grumpy Old Men, offered a fresh perspective on aging and friendship. Today, Lemmon's legacy serves as a reminder that even the brightest stars can fade, only to illuminate new paths for reflection and understanding. Lee Marvin. Lee Marvin first captivated audiences with his rugged charm and commanding presence in films like The Dirty Dozen and Cat Ballou, where his tough guy persona became emblematic of 1960s cinema. However, as the years progressed, Marvin faced a decline in both health and visibility, retreating from the spotlight and grappling with the effects of aging. This absence led to a shift in public perception, as the once vibrant actor became a figure of nostalgia, often overshadowed by younger stars. Today, Marvin represents a complex legacy, embodying the bittersweet reality of Hollywood's fleeting nature, where even the most memorable figures can fade into obscurity, leaving behind an indelible mark on film history. Yul Brynner. Yul Brynner was once the embodiment of charisma, known for his commanding presence in films like The King and I, where his bald head and intense gaze became his trademark. Over the decades, however, the striking figure who once captivated audiences transformed, both in appearance and career trajectory. As he aged, Brynner shifted from the silver screen to the stage, where he continued to perform, but the public's perception of him began to wane. In his later years, he faced health challenges, ultimately succumbing to lung cancer. Today, Brynner's legacy is a complex tapestry of talent and vulnerability, a reminder that even the most formidable icons are not immune to the passage of time. Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford once embodied the rugged hero, thrilling audiences as Han Solo and Indiana Jones, characters that defined an era of adventure and charm. However, as years passed, the actor faced the inevitable changes that come with aging and shifting industry dynamics. While his iconic roles solidified his status, Ford gradually retreated from the spotlight, navigating health challenges and a desire for a quieter life. Today, he stands as a testament to the complexities of fame, representing not just cinematic excellence, but also the human experience of reinvention and reflection. His journey reminds us that even the most celebrated figures confront the passage of time, reshaping their narratives in unexpected ways. Gregory Peck. In the golden era of Hollywood, Gregory Peck was the embodiment of moral integrity, famously portraying stoic characters in classics like To Kill a Mockingbird. His towering presence and resonant voice made him a symbol of strength and compassion. Yet, as time passed, the once vibrant star faced the inevitable effects of aging and a shifting industry that often sidelined its veterans. In his later years, Peck embraced a more introspective role, reflecting on his own mortality and the complexities of life, which offered a poignant contrast to his earlier, larger-than-life image. Today, he represents not just a bygone era of cinematic heroism, but also the enduring human struggle for relevance and connection in an ever-changing world. Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt first captured the spotlight in the 1990s with his charismatic performances in films like Fight Club and C7N, where he embodied the archetype of the brooding, handsome leading man. However, as the years went by, his career faced a series of ups and downs, including a public divorce and a shift towards more complex, character-driven roles that diverged from his earlier heartthrob image. Now, in 2026, Pitt stands as a symbol of resilience and reinvention, having embraced diverse projects that showcase his depth as an actor and producer. This transformation reflects a broader truth. Even those once celebrated for their youthful allure can redefine themselves, revealing the nuanced humanity beneath the surface. Kevin Bacon. What happens to a star when the spotlight dims? In the 1980s and 90s, Kevin Bacon was celebrated for his charisma in films like Footloose and A Few Good Men, embodying the youthful energy of Hollywood. However, as time progressed, his once familiar face became less visible on the big screen, leading to a quieter public presence. Today, Bacon has embraced a more introspective role, focusing on smaller projects and personal passions, such as music and philanthropy. This shift reveals a man who, despite the passage of time and changing perceptions, continues to explore new facets of his identity. Even icons evolve, reminding us that the journey of life is often more significant than the fame that once defined them. Peter O'Toole. Peter O'Toole was once a towering figure in cinema, celebrated for his mesmerizing performances in classics like Lawrence of Arabia, where his charisma and intensity made him a household name. However, as the years passed, the vibrant star faced a series of health challenges and a gradual retreat from the limelight, leading to a perception of absence rather than presence. In recent years, O'Toole's legacy has been redefined. He is remembered not just for his remarkable talent, but also for his candid reflections on aging and the industry. This evolution from a glamorous icon to a more humanized figure invites us to contemplate the fleeting nature of fame and the enduring impact of artistry, even as time alters our perceptions. Walter Matthau. Walter Matthau, once the epitome of grumpy charm in classics like The Odd Couple, commanded attention with his rough-hewn humor and distinctive voice, making him a beloved figure in American cinema. As the years passed, however, the pressures of fame took their toll. His later career saw a shift towards more subdued roles, reflecting both his aging and the changing landscape of Hollywood. Today, Matthau is often remembered less for his films and more for the human side of his legacy, including his candid struggles with health and the challenges of public perception. This evolution reminds us that even those who once seemed larger than life can fade into the background, leaving behind a more complex, relatable narrative. Charlie Chaplin. In the height of his fame, Charlie Chaplin was synonymous with the silent film era, a master of physical comedy who captivated audiences with his iconic tramp character complete with bowler hat and cane. However, as the years passed, Chaplin's public image underwent significant transformation, marked by controversy and a gradual distancing from the Hollywood mainstream. His later years were overshadowed by political scrutiny and a self-imposed exile from the United States, leading to a quieter existence in Switzerland. Today, Chaplin's legacy is not just about laughter, but also the complexities of a man grappling with fame, exile, and artistic integrity, reminding us that even the most beloved figures face the inevitable passage of time and shifting perceptions. Steve Martin. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Steve Martin was a comedic force, known for his wild white hair, banjo performances, and a unique blend of absurdity and charm that made him a staple of Saturday Night Live and blockbuster films like The Jerk. However, as the years passed, his image shifted dramatically. The frenetic energy of his youth gave way to a more subdued presence. Today, Martin is less frequently in the limelight, focusing on writing, theater, and music, embodying a quieter, introspective version of himself. This transformation reflects a broader understanding of the complexity of fame, reminding us that even the brightest stars evolve, revealing deeper layers beneath their once polarizing personas. George Clooney. What happens to a star when the spotlight dims? In the early 2000s, George Clooney was the epitome of Hollywood charm, captivating audiences with his suave performances in films like Ocean's 11 and The Descendants. As time passed, however, the relentless march of age revealed a different narrative. Clooney transitioned from leading man to a respected filmmaker and philanthropist, taking on roles that reflected deeper, more complex themes. Today, his image is less about the glamorous heartthrob and more about the thoughtful advocate for social issues, a shift that underscores the human side of fame. Even icons like Clooney remind us that life is a journey of reinvention, marked by both triumphs and vulnerabilities. Paul Newman. Paul Newman, a celebrated actor known for his striking blue eyes and charismatic performances in films like Cool Hand Luke and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, embodied the essence of Hollywood's golden era. However, as he aged, his public persona evolved. He faced scrutiny for his outspoken views on social and political issues, which sometimes alienated parts of his fan base. In his later years, Newman shifted focus from acting to philanthropy, founding a successful line of food products that donated profits to charity. Today, he is viewed not just as a film star, but as a complex figure whose commitment to social causes reflects a deeper narrative of humanity beyond the silver screen. Henry Fonda. What happens to a celebrated figure when the spotlight fades? Henry Fonda, once the embodiment of rugged masculinity and moral integrity in films like The Grapes of Wrath and 12 Angry Men, was a staple of American cinema during his prime. However, as the years passed, the once vibrant star faced the realities of aging, stepping back from the screen and grappling with health challenges. In his later years, Fonda's presence became less frequent, yet he reinvented himself on stage, reminding audiences of his enduring talent. Today, he represents a complex blend of nostalgia and humanity, illustrating that even the most revered can find solace in the quieter moments of life. Michael Douglas. In the 1990s, Michael Douglas was a cinematic powerhouse, celebrated for his roles in films like Wall Street and Fatal Attraction, where his charm and intensity defined a generation of thrillers. Yet, as the years passed, Douglas faced the inevitable changes of aging and shifting industry dynamics, leading to a quieter presence in Hollywood. Today, he embodies a different narrative, one marked by resilience as he navigated health challenges and embraced a more introspective approach to acting. Rather than simply fading into obscurity, Douglas has redefined his legacy, reminding us that even the brightest stars can adapt and evolve, reflecting the complexities of life beyond the silver screen. Alec Guinness. Alec Guinness, celebrated for his transformative performances in classics like Star Wars and The Bridge on the River Kwai, was once the epitome of British theatrical gravitas. However, as he aged, his public persona shifted. He became increasingly critical of the fame he had garnered, often expressing discomfort with the typecasting that followed his iconic roles. In his later years, Guinness retreated from the spotlight, focusing on writing and personal pursuits. which led to a more nuanced perception of the man behind the roles. Today, he is viewed not just as a cinematic titan, but as a complex figure who navigated the duality of celebrity and personal integrity, reminding us that even the most revered can struggle with their own legacy. Richard Gere. In the 1990s, Richard Gere was the embodiment of charm and sophistication, a leading man whose roles in films like Pretty Woman and An Officer and A Gentleman solidified his status as a Hollywood staple. However, as time passed, the public's view of Gere shifted. His career saw a decline in mainstream visibility, and he stepped away from the limelight, focusing on humanitarian efforts and less commercial projects. Now, at a glance, he may seem like a distant memory, but his journey reflects a profound transformation, one that showcases a man who has embraced his humanity and advocated for causes close to his heart. Gere's legacy is not just about romance on screen, but also about resilience and purpose beyond fame. Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson was once the embodiment of Hollywood glamour, a leading man whose rugged charm captivated audiences in films like Giant and Pillow Talk. However, the vibrant image of the dashing star belied a more complex reality. As time passed, Hudson faced the challenges of aging and a shifting industry, ultimately stepping away from the spotlight. His public battle with AIDS in the 1980s transformed perceptions, revealing the human vulnerabilities behind his polished exterior. Today, Hudson's legacy serves as a poignant reminder of the often hidden struggles faced by those in the limelight, inviting reflection on the gap between the glamorous persona and the authentic individual behind it. Steve McQueen. In the 1960s and 70s, Steve McQueen was the epitome of cool, celebrated for his rugged charm and thrilling performances in films like Bullitt and The Great Escape. Audiences admired his rebellious spirit and magnetic presence, solidifying him as a cultural icon. However, as time passed, McQueen's life took unexpected turns, marked by health struggles and a gradual retreat from the spotlight. By the late 1970s, his formidable image began to fade, overshadowed by his battle with cancer and a more private existence. Today, McQueen serves as a reminder of the complex interplay between fame and mortality, challenging us to reflect on how even the most admired figures can be transformed by the passage of time. Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum emerged in the 1940s as a brooding figure in film noir, captivating audiences with his rugged charm and complex characters, most notably in classics like Out of the Past. However, his career faced turbulence in the 1950s when he was arrested for marijuana possession, a scandal that momentarily clouded his public image. As time passed, Mitchum's reputation shifted from that of a troubled star to a respected elder statesman of cinema, illustrating the complexities of a life lived in the spotlight. Today, he is often viewed through a lens of nostalgia, representing not just the allure of Hollywood's golden age, but also the enduring resilience of an artist who navigated both fame and infamy. Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges first captured the public's admiration with his charismatic portrayal of the Dude in the cult classic Time's The Big Lebowski, a role that defined a laid-back, countercultural ethos in the late 1990s. However, as the years passed, his career faced challenges, including a prolonged absence from the spotlight and health struggles that led many to question if he would return. Yet, in 2020, Bridges made a remarkable comeback, starring in Time's The Old Man, showcasing not just his enduring talent, but also a more vulnerable side shaped by his experiences. Today, he embodies the complexities of aging in Hollywood, reminding us that even celebrated figures must navigate their humanity amid the shifting tides of fame. James Dean. What does it mean to be a cultural icon when time marches on? James Dean, the brooding star of films like Rebel Without a Cause, epitomized youthful rebellion and raw charisma in the 1950s, captivating audiences with his intense performances and striking good looks. However, his untimely death at just 24 years old halted a promising career, leaving a void in Hollywood that would never truly be filled. Today, Dean's image exists as a frozen moment in time, a reminder of lost potential. As we reflect on his legacy, we are left to ponder the fragility of fame and the bittersweet reality that even the brightest stars fade, leaving behind a complex tapestry of myth and memory. Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell, once the charming leading man of the 1980s, captivated audiences with roles in films like Escape from New York and The Thing, embodying a rugged yet charismatic persona that defined a generation of action heroes. Over the years, as the public's taste shifted and the pressures of fame took their toll, Russell transitioned into more varied roles, often stepping back from the limelight to focus on family and personal projects. Today, he stands as a testament to the complexities of celebrity, a figure who has embraced the quieter aspects of life, redefining his legacy not just through blockbuster hits, but also through his candid reflections on aging and the evolving nature of public perception. Clark Gable. Clark Gable first captivated audiences as the suave Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind, embodying an era of Hollywood glamour and charisma. However, as the years progressed, Gable faced the inevitable decline that comes with aging, experiencing a shift in public perception that overshadowed his earlier triumphs. Despite attempts to adapt to the changing cinematic landscape, his later career saw diminished roles, leading to a gradual withdrawal from the spotlight. Today, Gable represents a complex tapestry of nostalgia and human vulnerability, reminding us that even the most celebrated figures are not immune to the passage of time, ultimately becoming symbols of both enduring charm and the fleeting nature of fame. Spencer Tracy. Spencer Tracy was celebrated for his commanding performances in films like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner and Captain's Courageous, where his naturalistic acting style captivated audiences and defined a generation. However, as the years passed, Tracy faced personal struggles, including battles with alcoholism that complicated his career and led to a notable decline in public appearances. The once unstoppable star became a figure shrouded in a mix of admiration and concern, ultimately retreating from the spotlight before his death in 1967. Today, Tracy is often reinterpreted as a complex figure, his legacy a reminder that even the most revered talents grapple with their humanity, revealing that stardom can be as fleeting as it is brilliant. Rod Steiger. In the golden age of Hollywood, Rod Steiger was celebrated for his intense performances in films like On the Waterfront and The Pawnbroker, where his raw talent and commanding presence made him a standout. However, as time passed, the once vibrant star faced the inevitable decline that accompanies aging, leading to a withdrawal from the public eye. In his later years, Steiger's health challenges became apparent, and he was often overshadowed by younger actors. Yet, what remains striking is how his body of work continues to resonate. His dedication to portraying complex characters invites audiences to reflect on the human condition. Steiger's journey reminds us that even celebrated figures are not immune to the passage of time. Charles Bronson. In the present day, Charles Bronson's image has faded into a quiet remembrance, often overshadowed by the relentless pace of modern celebrity culture. Once celebrated as the tough, no-nonsense action star of films like Death Wish, he embodied a gritty masculinity that resonated with audiences in the 1970s and 1980s. However, as time passed, the public perception shifted. His tough guy persona was reinterpreted through the lens of changing societal values and the evolving film landscape. Today, Bronson represents not just the archetype of a bygone era, but also the complexities of fame's toll, reminding us that even the most formidable figures face the inevitable passage of time and its impact on legacy. Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid once epitomized the charming leading man of the 80s and 90s, captivating audiences in films like The Parent Trap and Inner Space with his charisma and versatility. However, as time passed, the image of the dashing star began to shift, influenced by personal struggles and a series of less impactful roles that led to a quieter presence in Hollywood. Today, Quaid represents a different narrative, marked by candid discussions about health challenges and a renewed focus on character-driven projects, illustrating the complexities of aging in the public eye. His journey reminds us that even the most celebrated figures can navigate the unpredictable tides of fame and personal reinvention. Bill Murray. In the 1980s, Bill Murray was the embodiment of irreverent comedy, his sharp wit and offbeat charm shining in films like Ghostbusters and Groundhog Day. Yet, as the years passed, the once ubiquitous star faded from the limelight, often opting for quieter, more introspective roles that challenged his earlier image. Today, Murray's presence is less about box office dominance and more about a unique blend of humility and authenticity, as seen in films like Lost in Translation. This evolution from a comedic powerhouse to a thoughtful artist reflects a deeper understanding of his craft, reminding us that even the brightest stars can redefine themselves, revealing the complex humanity beneath the surface. Burt Lancaster. Burt Lancaster was once the embodiment of Hollywood's golden age, known for his dynamic performances in films like From Here to Eternity, which showcased his rugged charm and athleticism. As the years progressed, however, his once vibrant presence on screen diminished, leading to a quieter phase in his career marked by fewer roles and a retreat from the limelight. Yet, in his later years, he embraced a more reflective approach to acting, taking on complex characters that revealed a deeply human side, challenging the perception of his earlier, more heroic roles. Today, Lancaster's legacy serves as a reminder that even the brightest stars can fade, only to be redefined through their enduring complexity. Kirk Douglas. What happens to a titan of cinema as time moves forward? Kirk Douglas, known for his intense performances in classics like Spartacus, embodied a rugged masculinity that captivated audiences in the mid-20th century. Yet, as the years unfolded, the vibrant star faced the realities of aging, including a debilitating stroke that reshaped his public presence. Now, he stands as a symbol of resilience, having shifted from the silver screen to a quieter life, advocating for causes close to his heart. The once larger-than-life figure has become a reminder that even the most celebrated icons confront their vulnerabilities, inviting reflection on the human experience behind the myth. Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio once epitomized the Hollywood heartthrob, captivating audiences with his performances in films like Titanic and Romeo plus Juliet. At the height of his fame, he was often celebrated for his youthful charm and romantic roles, embodying a dreamlike ideal. However, as time progressed, the pressures of fame began to shape public perception, leading to a more nuanced understanding of his craft. In recent years, DiCaprio has shifted his focus toward environmental activism and mature roles, presenting a more complex figure who grapples with the weight of celebrity. Today, he represents a blend of artistic evolution and social responsibility, reminding us that even the most adored stars can redefine their identities amidst changing expectations. James Coburn. How does the passage of time reshape our understanding of a once dominant figure? In the 1960s and 70s, James Coburn was celebrated for his rugged charm and commanding performances in films like The Magnificent Seven and Our Man Flint, embodying a certain Hollywood ideal. However, as the years progressed, health challenges led to a quieter existence, shifting public perception from the invincible star to a more vulnerable human being. In his later years, Coburn emerged as an advocate for alternative medicine, revealing a personal journey of reinvention. Today, he serves as a poignant reminder that even the most formidable icons are ultimately subject to the fragility of life, inviting us to reflect on the complexity behind the myth. Eli Wallach. Eli Wallach was once synonymous with the gritty charm of classic cinema. His performances in films like The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly, and The Magnificent Seven, cementing his status as a skilled character actor. As time passed, Wallach's image shifted. He faced the natural decline of aging, stepping back from the Hollywood spotlight while occasionally appearing in smaller roles that showcased his enduring talent. In his later years, he became a figure of nostalgia, representing a bygone era of filmmaking. Today, Wallach is remembered not just for his iconic roles, but as a reminder of the complex journey of an artist who navigated the ebb and flow of fame, embodying both the vibrancy and fragility of life. Montgomery Clift. In the 1950s, Montgomery Clift emerged as a groundbreaking figure in Hollywood, known for his intense performances and striking good looks, particularly in films like A Place in the Sunday. However, as he faced personal struggles, including a tragic car accident that altered his appearance and affected his mental health, the public's perception shifted. Clift's once celebrated image began to fade, overshadowed by his increasingly erratic behavior and a retreat from the spotlight. Today, he represents a complex narrative of vulnerability and resilience, prompting audiences to reconsider the pressures faced by those in the limelight, illustrating that even the brightest stars can dim, revealing the often unseen human side behind the glamour. Laurence Olivier. Laurence Olivier was celebrated as a titan of the stage and screen, renowned for his Shakespearean performances and commanding presence in films like Rebecca and Wuthering Heights. However, as time progressed, his career faced challenges, including a notable decline in health and a shift in public perception, as audiences began to favor new acting styles. This evolution led to a more complex understanding of Olivier, who, while still revered for his talent, became a figure of discussion regarding the pressures of fame and artistic integrity. Today, he represents not just a remarkable career, but also the vulnerabilities that accompany greatness, prompting reflection on the human experience beneath the accolades. Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner emerged as a leading figure in Hollywood during the late 1980s and early 1990s, celebrated for his roles in films like Dances with Wolves and The Bodyguard, which showcased his rugged charm and depth. However, as the years passed, his career faced setbacks, including mixed reviews for more recent projects and a notable absence from the spotlight. This shift led to a reevaluation of his contributions, revealing a more complex figure behind the iconic roles. Today, Costner is seen not just as a star, but as a testament to the unpredictability of fame, embodying both the allure of Hollywood and the reality of its fleeting nature. Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd first gained fame as a cornerstone of the original Saturday Night Live cast and a beloved figure in classic comedies like Ghostbusters. His energetic performances and memorable characters defined a generation's sense of humor. However, as time passed, Aykroyd's career shifted. He ventured into music, wine, and even a foray into the paranormal with his interest in the supernatural. Now, he embodies a more nuanced reality, often appearing in smaller roles and focusing on his business ventures. While his once vibrant screen presence has faded, Aykroyd continues to be a figure of curiosity, reminding us that the complexities of life extend far beyond the laughter he once inspired. Cary Grant. Cary Grant, once the epitome of suave sophistication, captivated audiences in the mid-20th century with his charming performances in films like North by Northwest and Bringing Up Baby. However, as the years passed, the pressure of fame and public scrutiny took its toll, leading to a gradual withdrawal from the spotlight. Today, his image is often romanticized, yet the reality reveals a man who grappled with insecurities and self-doubt, seeking solace in privacy. While his movies remain celebrated, the man behind the screen is remembered for his complex humanity, reminding us that even those who seemed untouchable were not immune to the passage of time and the weight of public perception. Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen once stood as a symbol of the idealistic 1970s, embodying the passionate, conflicted characters of films like Apocalypse Now and the groundbreaking TV series The West Wing. His intense performances and activism made him a beloved figure, often associated with the fervor of social change. However, as the years passed, Sheen faced personal challenges, including health issues that led to a quieter public presence. Now, he reflects a more nuanced reality, shifting from the fiery roles of his youth to a legacy marked by resilience and humility. His journey reminds us that even the most celebrated figures are shaped by time, revealing the complex humanity beneath their iconic images. Pierce Brosnan. In the 1990s, Pierce Brosnan became synonymous with suave sophistication as James Bond, captivating audiences with his charm and undeniable screen presence. Yet, as the years have unfolded, the once dashing secret agent has transitioned into a more complex figure, reflecting the passage of time. Now, in his 70s, Brosnan embraces roles that showcase his depth as an actor, often portraying characters that reveal vulnerability and resilience. This evolution contrasts sharply with the polished image of his youth, inviting a re-evaluation of what it means to be a leading man in Hollywood. Today, he embodies not just the allure of a bygone era, but also the reality of aging gracefully in a demanding industry. Ernest Borgnine. Ernest Borgnine was once the embodiment of rugged masculinity, celebrated for his roles in films like Marty, which showcased his ability to portray vulnerable yet tough characters. As time marched on, the once familiar face of the gruff but lovable actor began to age, leading to a shift in public perception. While he continued to work, appearing in various television shows and films well into his later years, the absence of his commanding presence left a noticeable gap in Hollywood. Today, Borgnine represents not just a bygone era of cinema but also the complexities of aging in the public eye, reminding us that even the most memorable figures are ultimately shaped by the passage of time. Telly Savalas. Telly Savalas, best known for his iconic role as Kojak, was a symbol of cool confidence, with his bald head and lollipop in hand becoming synonymous with 1970s television. However, as the years passed, Savalas faced the realities of aging and shifting public interests, leading to a decline in his on-screen presence. His later career saw him embracing character roles in films and television, yet the once vibrant star gradually faded from the limelight, leaving many to wonder about the man behind the tough exterior. Today, Savalas serves as a reminder that even the most memorable personalities are not immune to the passage of time, urging us to reflect on the complexities of fame and identity. Omar Sharif. Omar Sharif, once celebrated for his captivating performances in films like Lawrence of Arabia and Dr. Zhivago, embodied the glamour of classic Hollywood, with his striking looks and magnetic presence. As time passed, the world saw him transition from a leading man to a more subdued figure, facing the challenges of aging and shifting industry dynamics. His later years were marked by a significant reduction in screen appearances, yet he found new avenues in bridge playing and public speaking, showcasing a more vulnerable side of his personality. Today, Sharif's story resonates not just as a tale of stardom, but as a reminder that even the brightest lights can fade and transform, leaving us to appreciate the human journey beneath the glittering facade. Peter Fonda. Peter Fonda emerged as a defining figure of counterculture cinema in the 1960s, famously starring in Easy Rider, a film that captured the spirit of rebellion and freedom. However, as the years passed, Fonda faced a series of personal and professional challenges, including struggles with substance abuse and a fluctuating career that often overshadowed his earlier triumphs. In his later years, he transitioned into more reflective roles, revealing a complex human side that contrasted sharply with his youthful, carefree image. Today, Fonda is viewed not just as a Hollywood icon, but as a symbol of resilience, serving as a reminder that even those once celebrated for their boldness can evolve and face their own vulnerabilities. Robin Williams. In recent years, Robin Williams has become a poignant symbol of the complexities of fame. Once celebrated for his unparalleled comedic genius and vibrant performances in films like Mrs. Doubtfire and Good Will Hunting, he was the embodiment of joy and laughter. Yet, beneath the surface, he grappled with profound personal struggles, which the public often overlooked. As time passed, his once bright image dimmed, revealing the toll of mental health challenges and the pressures of celebrity life. Today, Williams is remembered not just for his roles, but as a reminder of the fragility of happiness and the human experience, prompting reflection on how even the brightest stars can face unseen battles. Tom Cruise. In the late 1980s and throughout the 1990s, Tom Cruise was the embodiment of Hollywood charisma, with his roles in films like Top Gun and Jerry Maguire cementing his status as a leading man. However, as the years progressed, the relentless passage of time and the shifting landscape of cinema prompted a transformation in both his public image and career choices. While once celebrated for his youthful exuberance, he now navigates a more complex persona, marked by intense dedication to his craft and a willingness to take on daring stunts well into his 50s. Today, Cruise represents not just the allure of stardom, but also the resilience and adaptability required to thrive in an ever-evolving industry.